Hello YouTube, this is the Mind Killer, and we are doing a tier list video on the units in the game. There are a lot more units than leaders, so this video is going to be a little bit longer, and we'll try and talk through it. I know a lot of people are going to have very different opinions on this stuff. I'm doing it based on how I feel about the unit, so I hope you'll bear with me and accept my opinion or yell at me in the comments or whatever. This site, prophecytierlist.com, comes from another streamer, a Twitch streamer named Woody. Very good guy. Go check him out. I feel like I should give him credit because this was his idea. So here we go. Let's start with Achilles. I think Achilles is really strong. He's one of my favorite fighters to get. He can do a lot of damage. He can execute. He can tank. He's not a tank, but he can be tanky when he needs to be. Obviously, what happened there? Would you go back? Okay. Obviously, Agni, we're just going to put him in S+. Agni is the character you want. Everybody wants that character. You keep him alive long enough to ult, he's going to destroy a team. That's just the way it is. Apwash, I would call balanced. He has strengths, but he also has a lot of weaknesses. He's got an interesting mechanic with his zombies that they disarm when they explode, and that's fun. There's different ways you can use him. Like you can put Onk on him so the zombies keep going back, or Divine Intervention so the zombies don't take any damage when they get low. So there's lots of stuff like that. But for the most part, he's pretty balanced. I don't think anybody thinks he's overpowered. Chronos, definitely up here with Achilles. They buffed him a couple patches ago to do more damage, and so now he hits pretty hard. But it's always going to be about the ult with Chronos. Especially if you can get like clarity on him or something with mana so that he just gets it faster. That ult is one of the best in the game. And the more upgrades he has, the longer they stay polymorphed. And it's fantastic. Well, Alma is also up here. We'll have to look at this when I'm done and see if it needs adjusting. Because really, A should be where the balanced ones go. And so that should be the biggest one. But right now, it's not looking that way. Alma is just a great tank. And she is basically the game's biggest counter to Poseidon, except for the elite trait. Alma's ult makes it so you only have... So when Alma ults, you can only do so much damage to the units that she's ulted, which is your whole team. And it's the same as this Titan's Rampart on the item list. That does that, but the Titan's Rampart only impacts one unit. Her ult impacts everyone, so it's a great counter to Poseidon. She's just a pretty tanky all around. She gives you crowd control reduction, I believe, in her ult as well, so very strong. Ancient Treant, not very good, pretty below average. I try to avoid him if I can. The healing ability can be strong, but it's usually not on him because of his position in a fight. And it doesn't really give him a lot of tankiness, so I don't like him. On her, I avoid him. I think he's probably the worst hunter in the game. Apollo is very strong. I'll call him balanced because he doesn't do any magical damage. He doesn't have like a strong ability, but if you get the right traits on him, his physical attack will hit really, really hard. Arachne, also balanced. She would have probably been lower than this in a previous patch, but they've actually buffed her protection, so she's now more like a fighter than she used to be. And of course, she has her little spiders, which can be crazy annoying when she's getting a bunch of them. Artemis, finally, Artemis is back and almost worthy of A+, I think. I'll be honest, I'm putting her here because I haven't played her enough since the new patch, since they fixed her boar. Her boar was broken before. Now it works, and it stuns like a champ. Bakkasur could go down here. I mean, he's a beginner assassin, so he's the worst assassin. He almost deserves to go up a bit because you can get him to 5-star pretty quick, especially if nobody picks him up. So he kind of is better for that reason. He's easier to get to 5-star. Cabrakan, a very good tank. Not overpowered, but very good. The reason I would put him at balance is because his ability kind of sucks sometimes. Sometimes he's just ulting nothing. And just like in Smite, you can't really like move in the ability or anything. So it's kind of like a Zonkui ability that doesn't move, and it sucks. Camazotz. They nerfed Camazotz recently, and he's still super strong. He's super fun to pick up. He dives, carries in the back line. All in all, very good unit. Sorry, we're not in Smite. Centurion, below average. I usually pick up Centurion when I can because as far as the beginning tanks go, he's one of the better ones, I guess. Cerberus is A+. Cerberus is a good tank, legendary character. Hard to get him upgraded, so he might deserve to go down just because 1-star Cerberus isn't nearly as good as a 5-star Alma, you know? And you can get Alma in like round 9 and you're waiting until round 20 to get Cerberus, but he is very good. Now that they've added crowd control immunity to his ability, he can get the whole ability off no matter what, and that's really strong too. Shock, below average, good pickup at the beginning, falls off really fast. I don't know. Meh. This guy, Chernabog, is the best beginning character, the best gray character. One of the best hunters for sure. Chronos. As far as I know, Chronos is still broken and actually hurts your allies, so I'm just gonna put that down there. Even if he wasn't, he'd probably be around A, I think. He's got a really strong ult, but it's kind of inaccurate sometimes, so you have to put him in the corner to get him to hit everybody. Because he can hit allies and enemies, and he gives you attack speed and slows their attack speed. But getting him to do that's kind of annoying. Daji is strong, but she's not fantastic. I think we put her in B+. I think most assassins are on the weak side in this game right now, especially with corner camping being as strong as it is. There's nothing assassins can do about that, so they just get blown up because they have to dive the front. Discordia is balanced. She's not bad, not great. Her ability to charm people and make them attack each other can be devastating, and sometimes it just doesn't matter. Dryads below average. Also, I think pretty much the same with the Treant, that she has a healing ability, and that's about it. And that kind of sucks. It's not that healing is bad, and I've definitely won games with her. It's just, why have a Dryad when you could have a Merlin, or something else, I'll usually pretty much, if I have her early, I'll pick her up, but that's about it. Geb is strong. He's a good tank. I think he's kind of like Cabrakan in their level of tankiness, and they're both purple, so that makes sense. Epic units. Geb can be pretty strong. His ult can wreck people if it goes off. I generally seem to have a hard time getting his ult to wreck people, though, especially if he's the one taking most of the damage. Guan Yu, very strong. Good, just a good all-around fighter, can do a lot of damage, kind of like Achilles. Hachi. Don't know. I think he belongs down here, but I kind of want to put him up here because he's been very good to me. Hachi is very good to me. Hachi is kind of underrated, I think. His banner is not bad at all, and it actually, I believe it gives him a bit of a crowd control immunity. I was just playing a game where a Sobek couldn't pluck him because he kept dropping his banner down. So that's a very strong ability to have. And one thing that I like a lot about Hachi is that you can drop a different hunter on him. So you have Hachi, and then you put a Chronos right next to him, and they both have that attack speed, and they're both just hitting like trucks. But he's not. It's not like it's broken or anything. So we'll put him below average. Hades is average. The second best beginning character in the game, probably behind Chernabog. But I think he falls off really quick late game because his range is so short. He can't hit a lot of units. Hebo. We'll put him here with Bakkasur. I think Hebo and Bakkasur are pretty much on the same level. Both common units. Both meh. Hebo can be really strong early because of that knock-up. It can really disrupt people. Like he can... a lot of leaders aren't CC immune in their ults like they would be in Smite. So, like Thanatos or Bellona can get knocked out of their abilities by Hebo's knockup, and that's great, but it's a one-person knockup. So, the later the game goes, the less helpful he is when there's 9 units on the board. Hu Yi is really, really strong. Great hunter all around. Possibly the best hunter in the game. It's honestly, I mean, he's a legendary unit, and the only hunter I would compare him to, I actually kind of want to put him up here because he's better than Chronos and Chernabog. The only hunter I would compare him to is Rama. They're both really good hunters, and they're really strong characters to have. Hunbots is good. He's kind of weak. His ability is strong, but it's not. It's overrated, I think. He's fine. He's not terrible. Izanami is definitely below average, but she can be strong. It's man, I feel bad with some of these characters like Hachi and Izzy. I don't know. She goes down here, I think. Jing Wei, obviously a very strong character. I think people are starting to find that she's not nearly as strong as they want her to be in some cases. The thing that just makes her stand out is her ability to get rid of aggro. When an assassin jumps on her and she just kind of hops away and they go find another target, that is what makes her really good. Kali is strong but not great. You could go there. If Kali couldn't die in her ability like she does in Smite, she would be a lot better. But really, she's not much of anything. Karkadan, I think, go down here. I hate Karkadan so much. I think he's probably a lot higher on other people's tier lists. But no, I do not like him. I try to avoid him, and I feel bad when I have to pick him up. Khepri can be great. Not a great tank, but that ability to revive people from death can come in super handy. But I think Khepri is definitely below Cabrakan and Geb, so we're not going to put him in the same category. King Arthur, I think, is now balanced in his position as a legendary unit. You don't see him nearly as much, and he's still a pretty squishy character. They didn't really buff him as a tank or anything. I hate his ult, his ability to execute people. I think it's stupid. I definitely think it shouldn't be able to target leaders the way that it does. The leader should be the last person on the board before King Arthur targets them. That's what I think. But that being said, I don't really fear King Arthur that much. I fear Guan Yu more than King Arthur. Kukulkan, obviously super strong. Probably going to go up to S. Probably best damage in the game. It's got a giant knock-up. It can hit across the map. Yeah, very good character, but hard to keep alive. Kind of like Agni. All right, Medusa. Going to just say A. Can be strong. Cannot be strong. Not the best. Kind of like Hades in that her ult can be strong, especially with the CC on it, but it doesn't really hit everybody. It's got a much shorter range. This guy obviously is super strong. Merlin with his giant AoE that can do all kinds of things from huge damage to silencing people to whatever you need him to do. He's very strong. Minotaur. Where do we put Shock? We're going to put Minotaur and Shock. They're basically the same character, really, in my book. Average. Good to pick up early. Not great late. Pele, I think, goes up here. Strongest assassin in the game. When she gets her ability off, she can just destroy. Kind of like Kukulkan, because it goes all the way through him. And she has... And the unique thing about her ability is that it teleports her, right? Like, she goes with the ability. So she teleports to the back as an assassin, starts hitting people, gets her ult off, and blasts out of danger. And that can save her life a lot more than other assassins who just kind of sit back there until they die. So Raijin is very good and is almost S tier. I can't put him with the same. I don't think he's as good as Kukulkan, but he's super strong. Set is balanced. I really like Set. I think he's a lot of fun. Most people do not like him as much. But I've always said Set is a hit or miss unit, and when he hits hard. And it's a lot of fun to watch when he's got 20 clones on the board. I don't even know if he has a max. The other pet wielding units like Opwash and Arachne, they have limits. They can't summon so many units. But I've seen him summon a dozen. So I don't know what his max is, but it's pretty fun. Scotty, below average, super overrated. People grab her all the time, but she's super weak. Doesn't really do a whole lot of damage. I would take Chernabog over her any day of the week. But she's not nearly as bad as Hebo late game. So there you go. Sobek also below average. Not bad, not great. You can actually sabotage yourself with his ability because he can pull people away from you that you really wanted to kill. So, Soul should probably Soul gets a step up just for her anti-healing. Like, it's so good. Arachne too. They both have anti-healing, and in certain games they are S tier. Like, if you don't have void or poison and you need anti-healing, this is where you go. Arachne, Soul, you get them, apply it to everybody, and get going. And now she's been buffed, so her ability doesn't miss weirdly like it used to, and that's fantastic. She's very, very good in certain situations. Sun Wukong, I'll call balanced. So his ability is weird. He doesn't do any damage with it, but it does keep him in the fight for a long time. And I've definitely lost rounds to a Sun Wukong that just kept healing. Obviously, he doesn't do a whole lot of damage or anything, but he can be really disruptive. Uller, I don't know. Ull, sorry, not Uller. Ull. He's, well, I don't know. He's kind of like a poor man's Camazotz and a poor man's Jing Wei. He's like Camazotz's ability and Jing Wei's ability mixed into one, but not as good. He'll jump, and that makes them lose aggro, and he'll jump into a backline, and that's interesting. I think he needs more lifesteal. He's supposed to jump with his ability and then heal, but he doesn't really. Usually, he just gets blown up. So I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of him, but I'll put him in balanced because I've had success with him. Meh, I don't know. All right, Jing Chen, very strong tank. Especially when they added the stun. So the way his ability works is it sucks people in and then shoots them out and then stuns them for 2 seconds. It's very strong. I like it a lot. I usually try to pick him up if I can. And I'll actually take him over Cerberus. So maybe I just move him up here just for my benefit. I don't think he's on the level of these other characters. Nah, we're not going to do that. Okay. Put him there. Yamir, Yamir is what Yamir does. You pick him up early because you need a tank, and he's all you got. Kind of like Medusa and Hades, his ability doesn't go very far, so it kind of falls off when there's a lot of people on the board. He's not crazy tanky or anything, but he's good enough. And Zhong Kui is definitely very strong. I don't think he's as strong at... Oh, where'd he go? Where'd that Zhong Kui go? He just disappeared. Well, okay, Zhong Kui's right here. He's in balance. Oh, there he went. Why'd you go up there? Come back down here. It's not that. Okay, I guess he's gonna go up there. He doesn't want to go next to Ull. He and Ull, he lost some money to Ull, and they've been fighting ever since. I think Zhong Kui is very strong. He's very fun. He can do a lot with his ability. Personally, I love to put Divine Intervention on him because usually what happens is he uses his ability, then he dies, or then he uses Divine Intervention, then he casts the ability again before he dies. And the key to Zhong Kui is that it persists after death, so that he can get 2 of them off like that. That being said, his ability is great, but the problem is his ability centers around him. So he has to be in the danger to use that ability, and that's a huge weakness for him, especially because he has a pretty short range. So usually he's up with your tanks and fighters trying to build up the mana to even cast the ability in the first place, which makes him very vulnerable compared to other units. So it's very good. It's not as good as Raijin or Merlin, so we're putting him in A. And that is my units. Chronos would be in A if his thing is working. I'm pretty sure it's still not working, so I'm going to put him down there. But yeah, this is it. I mean, Agni is up here. Agni is still S+. Pele is very good now that she's working again. Obviously, all the legendaries are pretty much up there. Did I put any legendaries down here? I put Set down here and King Arthur. And that's fine. That makes sense to me. They're not the best legendaries. King Arthur obviously can destroy you and ruin your day. But, that's what happens with a broken ability. But he's still not all that great. I think he can die pretty quickly. So, yeah. So this is my units tier list. I think it's very good. I like how this ended up, I think. And that's it. Thanks for watching.